You're with Dion at HDpiano, and this is Endless Love by Lionel Richie and Diana Ross. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's where we're going to stop for this first tutorial, through the intro and the verse. And we're going to cover the same verse in the second verse of the song as well. So we're covering, a fair chunk of the song here in this part 1. Before we get stuck into learning all the individual notes that make up what I just played then, because there are a lot of notes, I'm going to take you through a few tips to make this song a little easier. The first is that we are playing in the key of B flat major. That just means we have 2 black keys to look out for, B flat and E flat. Every other note is a white key, except for B flat and E flat. If you hit a B or an E, it's going to sound pretty wonky in this song. So we're on the lookout for B flats and E flats. Secondly, this song and this intro section uses a few, specific chord shapes. The first shape I'm going to show you is a B flat chord, but I'm going to add in an extra note. So the extra note I'm going to add in into my B flat chord is a C. So I've got those 4 notes all together. Notice that I'm playing my B flat chord in second inversion, which means B flat isn't the lowest note I'm playing like it would be in root position. I've got the same 3 notes, B flat, D and F, but I've moved the F to the bottom, and then I can add that C in there as well. So that's chord number 1. The second chord I'm going to show you is an E flat chord, which in the key of B flat is actually chord 4, but it's the second chord I'm showing you. A bit confusing, I know. So this E flat chord is E flat, G and B flat. And again, I'm playing this in second inversion, which means that E flat is at the top. And I'm going to add another note to this chord as well, and this extra note is an F. So just like in the B flat chord, where I added a note that was one note above the root note of the chord. So the B flat chord, root note is B flat, I added a C. In my E flat chord, I'm adding in an F. F is 1 step up from E flat, which is the root of the chord. This is our second chord shape. Third chord shape is a C minor 7 on an F bass. It's a mouthful, but it sounds really cool. So F in the bass, right hand is playing E flat, G, B flat, and C. And finally, to resolve that nice bit of tension, we're going to switch to a standard F major chord, and then resolve it back to our B flat with our added C in there. So they're our main chord shapes through this song. The B flat with the added C, the E flat with the added F, the C minor 7 on F, and the F. And you can get away with actually playing through this song and singing beautifully over the top just using these chord shapes through the verse. Now, in the intro of the song, we're playing 1 octave above where I was just demonstrating then. So left hand is around the middle C area of the piano. The right hand is 1 octave or so above that. And we've got our B flat with the added C shape here. We're going to break this into individual notes, which is known as an arpeggio. It's a fancy sounding word, just means we take those individual notes and we play them one at a time rather than all at the same time like we do when we play it as a chord. And so to play through the first run of notes here, I'm taking the very top note, the D, down to the bottom to the F, up to the B flat, and then to the C, back down to F, back up to B flat, back up to C, and back down to F. So we hit the D once at the start, and then we're walking our way up from the F to the B flat to the C, before finishing back on the F. So we get this nice flowing sound just by breaking those notes into their individual components rather than playing them all at the same time. Our second little pattern in this intro is instead of starting on D, we're actually going to jump up and start on F, one octave above the F that we play straight after. But then we're going to finish on the D instead of the C, and then back up from the bottom, finish on the C. It's kind of random, seems to be a bit of a random assortment, but you'll hear how it sounds now that I play it in full for you. 2, 3, and 4, and. So that is the intro. A really beautiful intro. And I also want to say with this song that I'm going to be using my sustain pedal heavily. I mean, pretty much all the time except for when I'm resetting the pedal so it doesn't get really muddy. A huge benefit of the sustain pedal is you might notice that as I play through some of these notes, they look like they're really short notes on the screen. I'm not holding down those right hand notes very long at all. In fact, if I don't use my pedal, it sounds like this. It's totally different. So the pedal's doing all that work to smooth things out. Now the reason I'm playing those notes so short is it allows me much more freedom of movement. If I'm really trying to play those notes smoothly, I get a bit more tense in the hand. Things feel a bit more difficult. So being able to bounce around those notes just allows me a bit more freedom of movement. So you'll notice that as I play through the rest of this verse as well, that the right hand notes I'm playing are often really, really short, but they're being lengthened out by the pedal. So we've gone through the intro, and as we head into the first verse, we have a little quick left hand via F to land on B flat at the start of our count 1 of our first bar of the verse. As we go through the verse, we have our same B flat chord. We're now back down to where I was demonstrating earlier. So the chord in the right hand is around the middle of the piano. And we're going top, bottom, middle, top, bottom, middle, bottom. And we haven't got the C this time. It's just a straight old B flat chord. Let's do that one again. 3 and 4 and. Now in the last little gap left by the right hand in this bar, because we've played 7 notes so far, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On the 8th, I'm going to hit left hand on that same F. Going to fill in the bar, 8 eighth notes worth of information now, to land back on B flat at the start of the next bar. So we have this 4 and 1. Into the second bar of the verse, we have our F, B flat, F. Then we're going to hit 2 notes at a time, B flat and D, walk it up through E flat and F. This is that bar by itself, 3 and 4 and 1. Now those 3 sets of notes, the 2 on the B flat and the D, then the E flat, then the F, are a bit of a different type of rhythm called a triplet. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about triplets. Otherwise, this video could run into the hours, and we don't want that. But it is also to say that if you know the song or you're following along with me, just do your best to follow the rhythm that I'm playing, because the counting of those is a little difficult to count in the middle of counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So go by how it sounds in this instance, and I'll see if I can explain triplets in another video sometime. All right, so we have those 2 bars of our B flat chord. We'll do them together, 3 and 4 and. We're landing here on F in the right hand, E flat in the left hand. Remember, this is the added note we added in from our E flat chord plus that F. And we're going to be using all these notes here. So we have the F down to G, B flat, then to E. And when we hit this E, we're going to do a little back and forth between the E and the D. Then come back down again to the G, B flat, and then C. Let's do this bar by itself. 3 and 4 and. Heading into the next bar. we have our C minor 7 chord shape. Again, played in individual notes. So we have C, E flat, G, B flat. Again, the top note, then walking up the bottom 3. And then to our standard F major chord, but this time we're just going to use the top and bottom notes, so the C and the F. So let's go through those 2 bars from the E flat, 3 and 4 and. You might have noticed in the E flat bar, even though my 3rd finger is hovering above this C, I switch my 5th finger there, so I can now reach these lower notes on the next chord shape. So pay attention to the fingers I'm using, it's going to be a real help, and I'll do my best to narrate those through as well. So we've come out of our F shape, we have C and D from our B flat chord, B flat again in the bass. Rolling up from F to B flat to F, a low B flat again, F, C, high B flat in the left hand, and then D, F, B flat, F. Those 2 bars, 3 and 4 and. Let's do those 6 bars in a row. And this is a bit unusual because often we're doing phrases that are 4 bars or 8 bars in length. This is a bit of an unusual verse. Each half of the verse is 6 bars long. So we just learned the first half of the verse and it's 6 bars. Let's take it from the start of the verse. 3 and 4 and. Heading on into the second half of the verse, it starts the same way. Until we get to this spot here. Rather than doing our back and forth, we're not going to worry about the little D in the middle. So we have the F, G, B flat, 2 E flats, G, B flat, and then a little gap left to play a little B flat in the left hand, landing back on C in the right hand and F. This again is our C minor 7 on F. We're going to come down this time, C, G and B flat at the same time, then E flat, back up to C. And then our standard F chord, we have C, A, C, F. So now we have all 3 notes from that chord. Let's go from the E flat bar again. 3 and 4 and. We're going to resolve that back down to B flat in the left hand. Right hand's going to play C, F, and then a low F, and then D. A little gap in the right, left hand's going to play a higher B flat. Right hand plays F, B flat, F. So that little gap in the right hand is where the left hand comes in. Onto the last bar, we're still on this higher B flat in the left hand. We're doing D, F, B flat, F. Now we're going to play the notes from our F chord. We're going to go all the way up to a F above middle C, then down to F, below middle C, up to A, and back down to F. And all this, instead of playing an F in the left hand, we're going to play an A. So this is an F chord on an A bass. All right, let's do those last 2 bars. This is from coming back in with B flat in the left hand. 3 and 4 and. So that is the end of the verse. We're going to do the whole second half of the verse now. So the last 6 bars. And then we're going to do everything again at full speed to wrap things up. So here we go, second half of the verse. 3 and 4 and. It's such a beautiful song, and it sounds even better when we play it at its proper speed. Now, full speed in this song is around 93 or 94 beats per minute. It moves a little bit in the recording because they didn't play to a click. So I'm going to play through at about 93. You can set your metronome to something similar when you're practicing away from this video. So all the way from the start of the intro. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Second half. And there we go. Great job so far on learning through part 1. If you're on HDpiano, just click on the next lesson to continue. And if you're on YouTube, head over to HDpiano.com for the rest of the song. Do you have a request? Well, visit requests.hdpiano.com and follow us on your favorite socials at HDpiano. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe and give us feedback in the comments. My name is Dion, and you're at HDpiano, the home of the hybrid piano lesson.